Welcome, adventurers, to another hobby hangout. This time, it's going to be a Halloween special. So we should be expecting Sarah and Matt to join us anytime soon, which is awesome. Obviously, I'm dressed for the occasion. And I think we're going to go from there. So let's get this started. Tell you what, I think just let me know in chat as well if the music's too loud. Godness Fang, thank you for joining. I should have... Sorry about that. Yeah, so we should have Matt and Sarah joining us shortly, which is going to be awesome. And I think I've overdone it, right? I dressed for the part. But no, thank you very much for joining. And yes, we shall talk hobby progress. Well, first of all, I've been painting my Reavers, Reavers, and I'll tell you what, I think I'll be sweating by the end of the night. Evening, Fax Painter. How are you? This will go off at some point. Fax Painter, as always, mate, just let us know if the music's too loud, too low, anything like that. That'll be awesome. We should have Matt and Sarah joining us. Oh, perfect. Thank you very much. So yeah, what have you all got? Smidge loud. All right, perfect. There you go, it's turned us down. So I do have actually Matt and Sarah joining us now, so let me just add them to the chat. Hey, there you go. So we do have, let me just try and organize that. So we do have Sarah. Sarah, I don't know whether your mic's on mute or not. We've also got Matt, the faceless one, as well.
Matt,
there you go.
Hi. All I hear is music. That weird harpsichord thing.
So, how loud is it? Is it too loud? Or?
It's deafening. It's creepy. Creepy, but deafening.
Is that about right?
It's all right. It's all right. It's all good.
Well,
what you guys up to?
Well, I'm dressed for the party, see. I'm not like miserable, and I like to get into the theme of things, and it is a Halloween special after all, so I figured why not get into the zone. As you can see, the little miniatures down below as well. I figured I'd put those on the screen.
Oh, nice.
All right, fair enough. Looks like they're on my table almost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I thought they were at first. I thought Matt had
I thought they were too.
Out to have all those on display.
Like, when did I just get Night Haunts?
Yeah, Nighthaunt and Ringwraith as well.
Whether you like it or not, you get Night Haunt.
I guess so. Might as well.
You don't get to choose who you're haunted by.
Well, I suppose they're haunting me now.
Yeah, too right. From chapter 1 they were anyway.
Well, at least they beat me 2 out of 3 matches, yeah.
Yeah, it was, yeah. No, it's good times. So Fax Painter's with us. We've got Godness Fang as well, who has joined, and then Seed has joined as well. Evening, everyone. Evening. So, has anyone got any Halloween plans this weekend? Sarah, start with you.
I am going to be going up to Glasgow this weekend, so I'm gonna.
Ooh.
I've got a Final Fantasy tournament on the Saturday, which is a trading card tournament. Ooh. So you should hopefully see some updates and stuff on my Instagram as the day goes on.
Oh, awesome! And then
that's really cool.
Bad idea.
I have kids. What do you think I'm going to do for Halloween? I'm going to dress them up, take pictures, and grab some candy. Well, their candy.
Yeah. I was going to say, Matt, so obviously I know you're from Canada as well, but I mean, so is it big over there, Halloween?
Oh, yeah, it's massive. if you think about it, like Christmas is pretty big world. Well, most of the Western countries, it's pretty big Christmas.
Yeah.
And same thing in North America. Christmas is probably the most economically profitable time, I suppose. But I think second behind that would be Halloween. I think, if I remember correctly.
I always knew it was big over there anyway, but yeah, so that's cool. I'm basically just going to have some family members around doing a little Halloween party of our own, taking little pictures. We're all dressing up. Obviously, I've got my outfit on now, and yeah, so it's going to be fun. Niece and nephews and so on. So, Sarah, what you've been working on, or what are you going to work on tonight?
I have multiple things I'm going to be working on because I'm trying to finish off a few large kits that I have procrastinated over for a while.
Yeah.
So I've got Mortarion, who's sort of like 90% built. I've got Be'lakor, who's about 95% built. Then I have a Repulsor, which again is like 90% built, and a lot of change that is still in the box.
Ah, very cool. So you got a lot of stuff on.
Yeah, mostly big things, but they've sort of like just been sitting around on my desk for just the same as everything else does for a very, very long time.
Yeah, no, honestly, I can imagine. I've got mine's.
Is that all you got planned for tonight?
Just all those boxes.
Well, see where it takes me. Depends on how quickly I get through a lot of change.
Fair enough.
What about you, Matt?
I'm doing some Chaos Nights because it's about time I do something aside from Stormcast.
Ah, that's cool. Go on. How many? What unit of 5 is it?
Yeah, it's just a unit of 5, but that'll be enough for the time being.
No,
I don't have very many Slaves to Darkness, but they'll be fun to paint. Nice little change.
Nice.
What about yourself?
So I got Reavers. So I've assembled them, sprayed them today, which didn't go according to plan. So obviously it's quite windy outside, so I ended up spraying them, and yeah, the box took off with the miniatures, and I was running in the garden after him. So I was like, "Oh no!" So yeah, so that was a fun time. But regardless, they are now spray. I've actually run out of spray like towards the end, so I do need to. I do need to base them anyway. So I've got that to do this evening, and hopefully, I then could probably start on some either cloth or skin texture. So yeah, so that's my goal anyway. So let me just sort something out. So everyone in chat, what are you working on this evening? And thank you all for joining. Just let me know as well if the music is too low, too high, all that kind of stuff, because I ask this every single time, because it's a pain in the backside.
And I think I've got my volume turned down quite a bit, and it's not really audible on mine, but I'm at like 20% on my volume.
Yeah, I don't want it to be too intrusive, but I want it to be, heard a little bit.
I mean, I hear the orchestra playing some spooky music.
That's good. You got headphones on as well, aren't you, Matt? So
that's probably why, though. Yeah.
Yeah, directly into the eardrum.
Yeah.
Straight in.
I was going to say, you tap directly into the orchestra itself.
I feel the music.
Yeah. Feel it. So, Fax Painter, Space Marine Captain, and Imperium Magazine, Xmas present for a mate. So,
ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
The elusive Space Marine Captain from issue 5.
I was going to say, so you're saying, Space Marine Captain from the Imperium Magazine, Xmas present for a mate, and are you actually assembling, painting, and everything for a mate? Because Sarah, Matt, Christmas is not too far away. You can get me, start painting some miniatures for me if you want.
My undercoat one.
I can get you a sprue. I'll get you a sprue.
Yeah. With everything chopped off out of it.
Yeah, bear sprue.
Yeah. Yep, the lot. Nice. That's an awesome gift.
That is, especially if it's like oh, I guess you're doing Space Marine. I thought you were gonna do like something big. You're you're gonna do something big, that'd be a hell of a gift.
Mm.
It just depends on how much you really like the person. I mean, I've got one that I'm doing for a friend, which is I've not actually put any pictures of it up yet because I don't want him to see it until it's actually finished. But it's like a conversion for his space wall. So he has like I honestly don't know if something like Lehman Russ or something is like I don't even know if he's a thing. Actually becomes a Primarch for the space wolves as an actual figure. Like I don't know if he's a thing outside of the horror parity, but I've used I don't even know what the character's name is from Soulblight. You know the guy that was in Cursed City, who then has a Soulblight model where he's sort of half werewolf, half person.
Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Are you using the mini one, or are you using the big one?
The big one. So I've done that one because he's half human, half wolf. I'm using him as like the wolf captain.
Cool.
I could see that happening. I could see that working. Because I mean, like he probably stands up about as tall as Gilliman, wouldn't he?
He's got the same kind of base as Gulliman and the wolf captain, so you can still use it. It's just one of those things where it's kind of a proxy, I guess. So I don't think anybody's going to have any issues with him using it because I think it's going to look pretty cool.
You put the effort in. So
I don't know. I don't know about putting the effort in.
No.
It was supposed to have been a birthday gift, but I ended up, like I always do, overloading myself with painting projects. And because I had to paint an entire army for I painted 2,000 points of Bone Splitters in 2 weeks for a tournament. And that ended up getting put on the back burner.
Jeez.
Yeah. And because I painted so much so quickly, I was completely burnt out afterwards for a while.
I can imagine. Alright, so sorry, I'm just gonna have to just part in hair. Let's do that in the hood. There you go. So say that evocated. I can't even say the damn word then. But not the Full Wars ones. I skipped over this. Was it Storm? Blah blah blah. Curse Breakers. So okay, I get the ones. Which ones you got now? Because I remember you're working on that Soul. What you call it now? That Soul Wars box for some time, haven't you? And also, Matt, this is what I was laughing at before. Is that a cat? Matt, I think because obviously your kid's crying in the background.
What?
It's a cat.
Yeah, not a cat, child.
No.
Speaking of which, be right back.
Just a youngling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, that's what made me laugh. Then, Sarah, when you were talking before, that just cracks me up because I skipped ahead in the chat and I just Sarah, what do you reckon of that? What do you call it? The board game scenario, the aliens that we played.
Which one?
The alien game. The court. Another day in the. What was it? Another glorious day in the.
Another
court.
glorious day in the court.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be pretty good. Like the first mission, like I said, we got it a little bit wrong on how we set it up. There we go. It's that model there. That model. That's the one.
Yeah, another one.
Yeah. Like not reading all of the rules and stuff fully, and not really being able to figure out how to start off the missions. We ended up running out of turns. Also getting ridiculously overwhelmed with, besides aliens, bad luck, with losing hope and rage as our first two cards.
Oh no, it's funny. I did thoroughly enjoy it. I think it was just, especially like near the nostalgia side of stuff, it just hit home so true. But I think the game mechanics, with cards, the recycling, and obviously the having to keep putting it underneath, lifting it up, and that kind of thing. That was a bit irritating. But the miniatures,
Yeah, I think that was really fiddly, but I think we can get around it.
Yeah.
We can figure something out on how to play the game without having to do all that nonsense.
Oh yeah, no, sure. Someone wants Daddy. Laugh out loud. Yes, I think someone does want Daddy. Matt's off. But no, I think it's a really good game, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing it again. And I think, well, as you know, I've been doing the editing for the Twilight Imperium. There you go. So I've been doing the editing for Twilight Imperium, and the way we've done it, like shot it, and like the parts video, part picture kind of thing, actually works out quite well, I think. And so yeah, I'm going to be probably doing that again in the future.
Yeah, that was yeah. It was really fun, especially doing the part time. Well, not part time. Sorry, the half time check in where we were talking about like what we were going to do like partway through the game. I think we were like turn 4 or something.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And then seeing how that played out.
No, for sure. Oh man almighty. Tell you what, I'm so looking forward to this working week to be done. It's been absolutely hectic. Okay. So Reavers, I need to paint some Reavers. That's what I need to do. And speaking of brushes, Sarah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. Not the ones that you like.
No, my least favorite.
But no, it's to be honest as well with the music. Again, guys in chat and everyone else, just let us know if the music's too much, too not. Because at the same time, we're trying something out here. It's our like second stream for quite some time, so we wanted to try and get the levels right, the theme, all that kind of stuff. So let us know if you're enjoying it. If not, we can always change it up.
My God, I've got no idea how the Constellarian model goes together.
Sarah, okay. All right. This is a question for chat as well. So, for me, because what do you actually enjoy doing Halloween-wise? Do I enjoy watching scary films? Because I know when you're a kid and everything, it's well, for me personally, I loved like just obviously trick or treating, or it's like staying in watching scary films with my brothers and obviously sister as well, and it was just I've just got massive fond memories of some of the scary films I've seen, horror films, if you like. Obviously, like Torment as well, because I think some of them is a little bit too young. What about yourself, though, Sarah?
Well, considering I never went out trick or treating, it was something that my folks never really wanted me to go and do.
Yeah.
So I never had the privilege of being able to go out and harass people at their doors.
Oh.
We were always turn off the front lights and stuff. We're not in. So I tended to watch scary movies and stuff instead. And speaking of aliens and stuff as well,
oh yes,
that was one movie that I watched. Relatively young, probably when I was still in primary school. I ended up watching that for the first time. It wasn't Halloween, like it was closer to Christmas than Halloween when it first came on. But I was absolutely fascinated. I thought that my parents had they were going to record something like they on the VHS thing, and I thought what they were watching on TV was what they were going to be taping, because you know how TV and stuff worked back then.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. So I started watching that, and then I went upstairs and continued watching it, and I was absolutely enthralled with it. And in the morning, when my brother came in and was like, "What were you doing up last night?" I was like, watching this amazing movie. Oh, this happened, and there's aliens, and Gets stabbed and all this white stuff goes everywhere.
I'll tell you what, though, I think for me, I mean, I love Aliens. I mean, did you say, so the film you watched, was it Alien or the second film, Aliens?
Aliens was the first one that I watched.
Yeah.
And then I remember on holiday once when we were on like caravan holiday, we came back from like club night and stuff, and on TV was The Thing, and I ended up watching that. And again, like all the gruesome things with like the thing coming out of the guy's chest and the guy's head opening up into like a big jaw and stuff.
Yeah.
And all this blood, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
The Thing is a great film. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I think
I don't think I get scared by movies. I'm interested more in like the supernatural element of some of the horror movies and what they do with it.
I think I'm a bit more of a scaredy cat than you then, I think, because
I know everything's fake, so nothing really scares me.
No, I get that. I think it's just sometimes, I don't know, it's like when you watch obviously like films and you get so engrossed. I don't know, I know it's obviously I'm watching a film, but because you get so engrossed in it, I don't know. For me, it can just easily creep me out, and it's one of those when you're in the shower and it's like, and then you're like, what the fuck, like feeling the back of your head and see if there's a hand crawling down or.
Well, I had one of those moments where I didn't even realize it was happening until it happened. Watching a really scary movie on my own in the house, lights and everything off. Went to the toilet in the bathroom, and strangely enough, like the door had been closed since like one of my parents had a shower and stuff. And I opened it. It was all warm. Turned the light on and stuff. And then the mirror on the wall had all the steam on it, so I had to wipe it off. And the shower curtain was closed behind me, and I was like, "Oh no, this is how it ends, isn't it?"
That's how it ends. Yeah, I love it.
Hello, I think I'm back. Possibly.
Event Horizon, Fax Painter, saying that's a good film. I think I've seen that actually.
Sam Neill, he's good in it. And as most people know, if you've played Dead Space, it's obviously inspired Dead Space easily.
Yeah. And then Mark Stanley. If you want to watch a decent horror film, The Wicker Man every time. I don't.
Is that not the one with Nick Cage?
Oh, is it?
Yes, that's the bees.
The bees, not the bees.
Or at least the remake one. I think there's an older version of it, isn't there?
Does that still have bees and Nick Cage in it though?
It doesn't have Nick Cage, but it does have bees in a cage, I believe.
Okay. It has a warp in it.
Yeah, it's a warp in it. So I said warp. Oh man almighty. You know what? This is I think on Saturday when I wear this, I'm definitely gonna have windows open. That type of material when it's like really gets to you. But no,
my costumes are usually fairly lazy. Like I just wear I'm dressed up as a lazy hockey player, dressed up as a lazy lawyer.
That does not surprise me, Matt, in the slightest.
Just sweatpants and a t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the average
What makes you a lawyer and you've just got like the tiny book of law?
Yeah. Oh, that's putting quite a bit more effort than I do, really.
No, I was going to say, for me, I just love it. I've got then again, they're not all horror aspects or anything like that, but I have got like a Star Trek outfit. I've got a Jedi one. These all of war, obviously. And what else now? I don't know, it's a lot of like generic stuff, vampire, zombie, and all that stuff. Where the wife also makeup artist, she's done makeup for us and all that stuff. In the past. So that was cool. Well, no, I think horror film for me, I think one of my favorites, just for again childhood when I watched it, was Sleepy Hollow. It's not really a horror film per se, but it's like when I was younger, when I watched it, the Headless Horseman, going around and all that kind of stuff, and it's obviously all the bodies in the tree and stuff like
The
that.
version with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. So that was when I was quite young when I watched that, but it's not like 'cause I was scared by it, but more just because I enjoyed it, and it's me and my brothers again, my sister, and I just vividly remember all of us hanging out, watching it, and enjoying it. So it doesn't necessarily need to be the most scariest thing, but for me, that was one of the most enjoyable films to watch. That's horror aspects.
Yeah, I've watched quite a few different bizarre horror movies and stuff. I tend to watch them on Netflix, and even the really bad ones, I'll still watch just to see what they're like.
Yeah, we've seen The Mist.
That's one that I've not seen yet. I've not seen the TV series. I've not seen the original or anything yet either.
Yeah, they're decent. I think they are decent. I've watched the series as well, and again from memory, my memory's a bit foggy and all, but it's actually not too bad.
You'd say?
Boom. Yes. On the nose. But yeah, so no, it was actually quite decent.
Remind me, is that an M. Night Shyamalan one, The Mist, or is that Stephen King?
No idea, to be honest. No idea.
Was it M. Night that did the Happening?
No, The Fappening. Oh wait, Happening. No, I don't know. I know about The Fappening. Don't remember The Happening. Don't ask. Internet.
Oh, okay.
Internet thing. The Happening. I don't remember actually.
With Mark Wahlberg and the enemy is the wind.
What?
No,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was going to say amount of depths in that one. Nicolas Cage remake was pants. Nicolas Cage, he's just a conundrum in himself, isn't he?
He's something.
Anytime I think of these and stuff, though, in horror movies, you got to think of the Candyman rather than Nick Cage.
To be honest, I need to see it because I don't think I've seen it.
Me neither.
Well, there's a new one that I think came out recently, but there's still like Candyman 1 to 3, which I think is actually on Netflix. I'm pretty sure it's the same person in the new one that played the original Candyman.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Wait, how old's the original Candyman? That's like from the 80s, I want to say, isn't it?
I don't think he was too old.
So saying if you like B horror movies, go for children. Shouldn't play with dead things. Again, not seen that.
Haven't even heard of that one.
No. Oh, you, sir? Ring any bells?
No, not heard of that one.
Legion?
I need to go through all the parts because I've done like tons of sub assemblies, and I need to figure out where exactly I'm up to in the book with the sub assemblies.
Have you read? I was going to say because it's one thing I don't really read is horror books. I've never read a horror book.
I've read horror, or not horror, but like I like reading creepypasta. Does that count?
No, that doesn't count at all.
I think it does. That stuff's great.
And then a skeleton popped out.
No, not the bad ones. I mean, like the good ones. Like, what's it? There's like the SCP series. Those are great. Although they're not all horror. There's some of them are just sci-fi kind of funny things. But SCP has some good creepy ones. There's the Holders, or is it the Keys? The Key Holders? The Holders? Like another series on the web. They're all pretty good, I think.
Like, again, I've read like a few horror books and stuff, but I don't find them scary. I find them more intriguing. It depends on how well they're written as to whether they are actually still good to read. Like, I've never found myself. I have with video games found myself like a jump scare or something like that has made me pause the game and almost go, nope, turn it off.
See, video games, that's what I love. That's the aspects I think. Video games, when it's like jumpy and all that stuff, I love it. It's like, I remember Resident Evil, the first one, when a dog jumps through the window. I remember that when I was young. This new in the haunted mansion. In the mansion, should I say?
Oh yeah. When the first
It's like
hellhound
walking
shows
down
up, I'm
it's
pretty
like
sure that
walking-
ruined many people's pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a fake out as well. If you go a certain way around the mansion and end up in that corridor, if you go the opposite way to the way that the dog jumps out, you expect, oh, the dog's going to jump out here, but you just hear like a smack against the window and like a chip of glass falls out, but the dog doesn't come through. It's like a jump scare. And then you think, oh, the dog's not going to come through, so you go through again, and then all of a sudden, and then a further window a little bit further down, then the dog jumps through.
So I like that. I like that aspect.
But yeah, if you want some jump scares and stuff, Outlast, the first Outlast game, that's one of the games that made me want to not play anymore, because in movies,
It's game over.
things are going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
And you know when somebody's in a quiet area, they're going to be building up the tension, and you're thinking to yourself, jump scare's coming any second now. But when it's you and you're on your own for so long, just walking around the corridor, and you get a little bit complacent, thinking, "Oh, nothing's around here." Then all of a sudden, like a elevator shaft collapses next to you, or something falls from the ceiling, and you're like, "Nope, that's the end of that game."
Yeah.
I think video games are better for horror mediums just because you immerse yourself quite a bit more. Because if you're watching a movie, you're just like, that character's going to get it, or that character's going to die, and whatever. You're just kind of an observer. Whereas if you're playing it, you're more of like, you're in the character, you're being that person, you're experiencing it firsthand almost.
Yeah.
So it's a different experience, and I think that's why horror is I think it's a lot more visceral when you play the video game.
It's always the survival element of the game. Like in Mario, it doesn't matter if you die; you've got like millions of lives and stuff. But in things like Silent Hill, Resident Evil, Dead Space, Dark Souls, that type of stuff, death usually sets you back quite a way.
I wouldn't call Dark Souls horror though. It's just frustrating. Frustrating is the word I would use.
It's still sort of like you do still get like some random jump scares and stuff, and I guess maybe Bloodborne is a little bit more horror than Dark Souls. Maybe Dark Souls is more like just like dark fantasy. But just it was mainly like an example of like a survival game where death has meaning to the game, and you want to keep your character alive, and when they're about to die, you feel worried. You start panicking when your character's about to die.
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, I don't know. I mean, I'm more fearful when I watch horror films than play games. I don't know. That's just me, but. Fax Pain, that cracks me up. It says, I read the Tom Bombadil chapter of Lord of the Rings. That's horror. Oh, that's good. Pan horror books, classics, late 60s, 70s horror at its finest. Yeah, I was going to say, for me, I don't know. It's also, I think I'll be moving into audiobooks and stuff like that more than reading these days anyway. Just time. Because I'm constantly doing like hobby, or when I'm doing hobby, I can have the audio book on, or obviously you guys, have Dice Sagas on. That's even better than any horror audio book out there.
Terrible stuff, isn't it?
So honestly, that's in terms of reading books. I don't know. I've read, I have read a lot of books in the past, but this. For me personally, I've just moved away from actual reading books now. Even like sometimes when it comes to like battle tomes, or some like if I want to just catch up on some Age of Sigmar lore or 40K lore, I just jump to a YouTube channel these days as well and just have like a quick snaps of what's actually happening. And then if I want to listen more or read more, then I'll go out and buy it and delve into it. through an audiobook or through actually like a battle tome or whatever.
I like to be a little bit more physical with the books. Not like that, you know. Just actually have a like a physical book. I really like hardback books. I've never listened to an audiobook, and I've never read a digital book.
I've never read a digital book.
Never read a digital book.
Audiobook, sure.
Or listened to an audiobook.
Is that just out of personal preference kind of thing?
I guess more for like time, and I think for sort of like some of the investment as well. I like the cozy feeling of sitting down and reading a book rather than listening to one. Yeah. Usually, if I am doing hobby or something like that, I'll put a film on in the background, and that's how I just sort of like gorge myself on films. Is do lots of hobby, watch lots of films.
Yeah, no, I get that. So, I think for me, reading a book, especially because again I've read a lot of, we'll keep it Age of Sigmar as well, kind of style or Warhammer style. So, I've read a lot of the Von Carstein in terms of theme as well, the Von Carstein books and all that. And one thing I like about reading a physical book is it stays with, for me personally, it stays with me longer. It's in like, yeah, obviously it takes longer to read because I'm a slow reader anyway, but in terms of actually, you know, like I don't know, I just feel like I'm actually there in the moments more than I do when I listen to an audiobook.
I suppose you take a bit more conscious effort
more as well as you're digesting
the exactly.
Because it's really easy to listen and kind of zone out, but if you're reading, you kind of have to think about it, you imagine it.
You have to be
it's
there.
a lot more active.
Moment. Yeah. I suppose that's the massive pro to reading a book compared to audio. Well, for me personally.
Yeah, I've listened to 1 or 2 audiobooks before. It's all right, but again, like I get distracted, and sometimes depending on what program you're using, I think I was just listening off of I think it was just like audio files on my computer, but like you can lose your place really easily sometimes. If you don't, or if I just kind of zone out, like I'm driving and listening to an audiobook, I'm like, okay, what did I just listen to?
All right. That's what I found useful. The wife's just joined briefly before she heads off to bed, but the feel and smell of holding a book is so much better than audiobooks. Yeah, there you go. She does. Whenever I buy a new book from also like GW or like anywhere, to be honest, like rule books or anything, straight away, straight to the pages and like turning it and then sniffing the pages, like it's like a fix.
Fresh new book smell.
It's like a drug. It's even the same with like video games or something like that. As soon as you've opened it, you just want to sniff the inside. It's kind of like, new manual smell.
Yeah.
They used to do that for video games because I haven't bought a console or anything for a good while. So do they still do that with like instructions and everything?
No, not with a lot of them, but now I think you've kind of got to get your fix by undoing the plastic on them.
Right.
They're not quite as good at putting manuals in games now. It's just basically to keep down costs, which is why you end up having to go through like a ridiculous tutorial on a lot of games so that you can read all of the instructions. Normally, back in the console days, well, when I say console days, sorry, I mean like Mega Drive, all that type of stuff.
SNES. Yeah.
You would have read the manual, got some background on the story, learned a little bit about the characters before you even pick it up.
Yeah, true. I mean that was like part of the fun. Like I remember I would like as a kid, I would get my parents to buy a video game. I would open it in the car. I would start reading the instructions and getting hyped about it. That was the ritual. And like whenever I wanted to think about the game without playing it, I just picked up the manual, kept reading.
Yep, I can hear that.
It's kind of dull, but you know, that's what we did back then for entertainment.
Back then, like it was like 50 years ago or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty old.
So, Mark, I can never use audiobooks. I would rather have physical copies in front of me, but then I've read comic books for 37 years. So, I get that. So was absolutely killer for me, as well as the End Times with Nagash was insane. To be honest, I've read the and actually did buy the End Time books. So I obviously read them and all that stuff. I actually enjoyed some aspects of the story. A lot of the characters, again, I won't go into too much detail around the overall. Obviously, we all know what happened. So I won't go into detail of that. But I thought the books were okay. I know the End Time, Soul Wars. I actually got the audiobook for that one and probably listened to it about 3 times now. And that's obviously driving back and forth to work. So I did actually rather enjoy that audiobook. So who else we got here this evening? I'm assuming you mean in chat. Because at this moment in time, so obviously you got Sarah, myself, and Matt. Last console computer I was.
Oh my god!
Spectrum. Wow.
I think that was my first one.
Yeah.
Sitting there, waiting, listening to the screech of the tapes as it loads up. Then it crashes, and then you have to rewind the tape, and then reload it, and wait for another 15 minutes for the game to load.
We did a lot of waiting when we were younger.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've noticed myself now as well. It's like if it's not like.
Yeah, but now when we get to this age and stuff, it's like things are moving too fast. Slow down.
For me, when it's like, I don't know. Obviously, the mindset changes with technology, doesn't it? So obviously now I'm like, oh, why isn't it loading? Come on, let's go. Constantly on the move. It's one of the things now. Don't wait. Go. 100 miles per hour.
I mean, like back in the 90s, you had to wait a good 10, 15 minutes for a good picture to load or a website to load. Nowadays, we're like, what? This movie's not downloaded yet? Netflix, why aren't you streaming this, HD movie instantly for me?
I know. Remember when you had to wait for 15 minutes for what was it called now? A MIDI file to download.
Oh my god, yeah. Napster back then was a godsend, but even then it was pretty slow for a lot of things. Like a song would take you at least a good 20 minutes, up to an hour maybe.
Yeah.
That's assuming people are streaming or sharing it.
So Matt, how old were you when you started getting into it?
Recollect the old days.
Pardon me?
So, Matt and Sarah, how old were you guys then when you first started getting into? When you first started using the internet fully, for me, I was about 15, 14 or something like that.
Using the internet?
I think it's about 15. No, about 14, I think, when I started using it properly. In terms of
around about that. Around about that, because I remember a lot of the people that I used to play online with were from high school. So it's probably you finish high school at 15, so it's probably about 12, 13 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, we never had a computer at all, but we didn't get. I first started using one properly when I was in high school, and then literally, obviously, probably about a few months after that, I started using it. It was like, we need one. And then obviously, lo and behold, we got a very first computer, and the first computer game I remember playing on there was actually my brother's game, which was a flight simulator.
Nice. I think my first game I played was either Commander Keen or some sort of flight simulator. I think it was Falcon 3.0 or something. That's old school stuff.
So
one of my first games I remember was Warcraft.
Warcraft 1 or 2? 2, yeah.
So Max saying tape loading, oh the joys, but was worth it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We didn't
When
know any better
like
either.
busy loads and stuff like that. That was
Nuno, welcome to the chat.
Hey, yo.
He says, I miss waiting. Yeah, of course you do, mate.
32 and started playing online, doesn't it?
Wow.
It's not good, not bad going though. It's like I remember when I first started. One of the first games I actually started playing online was was it Call of Duty? I think it was.
I was in the earlier days of that one.
God.
I was playing like
Dave Defeat,
and Counter Strike.
Yeah, I was on
Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike.
Oh no, Counter-Strike as well. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
Counter-Strike and Dodge Day Defeat. Yeah.
Oh, Day of Defeat was fun. That was a good game.
Yeah, those are the games I played first. In terms of that online play.
What else?
Remembering when the original Team Fortress was just a mod for Half-Life.
Which one, sir?
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it? It's weird to think about it like that nowadays because I mean, it's such a big thing now. Team Fortress, if you remember ever playing that.
Don't think so.
I got into it for a little bit, but it was a bit too, I don't know. I didn't really like it that much.
I thought it was a little bit too cartoony and stuff, but I preferred Counter Strike.
Yeah, I'm more the methodical, slow-moving kind of person. Tactical if need be, or if possible.
I remember Counter-Strike, part of a clan as well. They had, or guild, should I say clan? No, clan.
Clan.
They call it clans, right? So, yeah. So I remember me and my brother being part of a clan, the same clan, and we was obviously doing like clan wars, battles against others, and we was like, who's going to be playing though? Because there's only one PC and there's two of us. So, so that was the joy. It was like, oh, my turn, come on, get off. And there you go.
You be on the mouse, I'll be on the keyboard.
I was just about to say, yeah.
That's a lot of lovely arguments back in like World of Warcraft as well, when we had to share playing time on that as well. Oh, dear Lord.
Warcraft 2 was actually one of the games that got me into Warhammer.
Oh, really? Right. Nice.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Because, I mean, wait, what was it? It was a Warcraft is derived from Warhammer, I think, right?
I guess so, because it did have all kinds of things like boar riding orcs and wolf riding goblins and stuff in it. But Warcraft 2, I absolutely loved the illustrations and stuff that they had in the instruction manual. Reading about all of the units, some of the lore. I loved the
amazing for that.
art style and the music. I still hum some of the music to myself when I'm doing stuff.
Nice.
Me too.
And then somebody that I knew at high school came in with a little codex for the Chaos Dwarfs, and I was looking at it going like, oh my god, what is this?
And that's how your addiction started.
Yep.
I was about 13. Oh, just left. Not 13. No, I don't know actually. But I don't know how old people are these days. I don't have any kids, so long gone are the memory of how old people were. So basically, just left primary school. How old are you then?
How old are people?
I know you don't know, primary school. No. I think it's about 13 maybe then. I think when I first got into Warhammer, I went around to one of my friends, and him and another mate was playing it, and I was like, oh, what's this? And obviously then that was it then. Straight away started getting into it, and Lizard Men, then Empire Undead, there you go. And
You got into the Lizard Men back when Lizard Men were Lizard Men.
Oh, Lord Mizundi as well, and being kids, we used to always take the mick out of each other in terms of names. Obviously, my brother and mate used to say, "Oh, you're playing Lost Me Undies." Such a child naivety there. Love it.
My first army, despite the fact that I love orcs so much, was dwarfs.
Oh,
the natural enemy. Why?
I know. I think it sort of like went to that from reading the lore on how dwarfs were, again, natural enemies and stuff with night goblins. They also had fights with orcs. And then, I don't know, something just drew me towards the orcs and goblins. I think it was because they were more cartoony, and a lot more of the stuff that they had reminded me of Warcraft 2.
That's true.
Because the humans, like they had you had the dwarf, you had the empire and stuff, and nothing was really like the humans in Warcraft 2. Like the Lordran soldiers and stuff like that. And they were split among too many factions. Like again, elves, you have the high elves, and the wood elves and stuff like that. Then the empire and the dwarves.
Yeah, you did have a nice alliance that you had with Warcraft.
Yeah, sorry, that was it. Yeah, it was the alliance. Sorry, and the horde, and the orcs just seemed to have more stuff that felt like the complete army. I never played any proper games or anything like that. I just enjoyed collecting it and painting it at the time. I mainly got into as a Christmas present Warhammer Quest.
Oh yeah.
And that was just the best.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I had to sell it in order to fund university. And absolutely regret my choice for doing that. Don't regret going to university, but I regret the choice of having to sell it because I grossly undersold it.
Well, if you look on it now, I think you can sell pretty high, can't you?
Well, one of the expansions that I had, which was Lair of the Orc Lord, I sold that for like 50 quid. Like 200 quid now, just for that.
Jeez. Never undervalue the value of nerd nostalgia.
Yeah, but it's when you're desperate to have to get some funds, and you just have to sell what you've got at the price people want to buy it at.
Kidneys. There's always kidneys.
Yeah, who needs those?
Well, not your victims, obviously. Never said it had to be your kidneys.
When you turn up to the hospital with 3 kidneys.
So basically, I wasn't really interested in gaming online or just using the internet. I was just happy playing Warhammer Fantasy whilst listening to Black Sabbath on my Vinity. So to be honest, that's again, like in terms of consoles, we played again, say we and like me and my brothers played console games quite a lot, but at the same time though, we did spend most of our time reading books, Warhammer books, and obviously playing Warhammer Fantasy against each other and stuff. So. Yeah, I have so much more memories of that than I do of playing console games.
I'm the opposite, I think, just because my brother and we spent so much time on our console.
Yeah.
PlayStation, Nintendo 64, etc.
Yeah, I mean, the older I got, it did go that way, for sure.
I was the opposite to that. I had very few friends and and tended to play Warhammer Quest by myself and mostly video games by myself.
Oh,
there you go. But still, fun memories, I guess, of playing those.
Oh, you got us now. You got us now. It's all good. I don't think I've actually played against your orcs before, have I?
You played them in the glory thing that we used to play, and you played them in Warcry, but I don't think we've actually had a proper battle.
No, we need to rectify that at some point.
When I started getting into playing Age of Sigmar and 40K and stuff, I was getting paired up against people who had obviously played it much more than I did. I didn't even have an idea of what the hell a Grand Alliance was, or how you're supposed to choose relics and stuff.
Oh, don't worry. Me and Chris play like really, really narrative-ish, or so like we don't really go
We're
competitive
not the most
style.
competitive. Yeah.
Probably the least competitive people here.
Yeah. I mean, we still,
Now
we build lists.
I can be very competitive sometimes, but I can make a fun list. I don't have to, like, I know what's good. And if you want a fun list, I can just go with fun.
That's my problem. I don't know what's good. I just kind of go with like, okay, that's kind of cool. That fits this theme. I'll go with that.
I played in a little mini tournament where it was like 1,000 points with my Iron Jaws, and I had a unit of 6 Gold Runters, and people just didn't know how to stop them. It was a massive blob of like 30 wounds that on turn 1 make it all the way across the board, slam into your most precious unit, and wipe it off the board. And one of my opponents, who was my last opponent, basically just asked me, said, like, how do you even beat that unit? Like, it seems so unfair.
Wow, that's a high praise.
Well, everything they ran into, they killed. I think the person who I played in the third round didn't know about smashing and bashing. And, like, I mean, I don't know what my opponents know or not about the army. And when it came to him basically slamming his entire army into my orcs, he picked one unit and started going with it. And I said, okay, I'm going to pick this unit. Now, I have a rule called smashing and bashing. And if any unit I pick kills a unit, then I get to immediately pick another one of my units. And after that one unit of his attacked, no more units were eligible to attack.
Ouch.
He had nothing left on the board at the end of turn 2.
That's painful.
I felt so sorry because everything killed a unit. Everything that they attacked, it killed.
I have a hard time believing that you felt sorry. I know full well you'd be just like laughing at the table.
I can't do that in front of them.
Just behind his back.
I've got to try and stay humble at the table.
Just shout, "Wow!" There you go. Done. Job's done.
Well, that was it. I didn't want to kind of rub salt into the wound by using the wire and giving all of my weapons an extra rend.
Yeah.
The Gore Grunters now have had a buff from the FAQ. Their weapon rend is -2 base, and with the wire, they've got a -3 rend on their weapons now.
Ooh. Note to self.
Yeah, exactly.
So, if I get the right conditions, I've got a unit of 6 Gore Grunters that can charge across the board turn 1. The War Chanter can give them +1 to their damage. I can give them +1 with all-out attack, depending on if I get to use my Triumph. I can give them +1 to their wounds. So when I say +1 to wound the opponent. And if I use the War during the charge phase, all of their weapon rend increases by 1. So they're hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s, rend -3, 2 damage per attack.
I'm sorry, Sarah. Weren't we just talking about how uncompetitive you were before?
Well, in all honesty, it is a horror-themed kind of thing we're going for here. So that's
I'm horrified.
I'm
horrified.
Scary pigs.
Scary pigs are indeed scary. Jeez.
Yeah, like even I was kind of looking at them and going, "Really, Games Workshop? Really?"
I suppose the only thing I could think of, Matt, with where I've even come close to putting out the army that I've used that put out the most damage in like a single turn was
like
my
KO. Yeah. Your damn spell and bottle thing. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. that did a bit of damage, right? And then absolutely unloaded everything, spent all the Aether Gold, everything, just bam, and yeah, that was brutal.
It's a bad turn 1 for me, I think.
Oh yeah.
What spell do you like using on it?
It was the Skaven Warp Lightning.
Oh, I was going to say, I've got a tiny Caradron Overlord's army, and I purposely bought the Warp Lightning spell just for that.
Oh, that, yeah.
I hate both of you.
Yeah. Well, you haven't seen Mikhail for some time, though, have you, Matt? So.
I know. I'm counting my blessings.
Oh, another one actually, Matt, as well. Sorry, it's the Ogres.
That was partly my own fault. I moved in too close, and I couldn't get my charge.
I mean, they were hungry boys, and they were hungry. Yeah, they were by far the most simplest army I've ever used.
Simple but effective.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's what I mean. I did enjoy it. The aspects of it, the simplicity of just run at the target.
I mean, if you want simplistic, the Iron Jaws are like the perfect simple unit. It's similar, I guess, to the Ogre Moor tribe, but they literally have no shooting apart from like the breath attack that you can get on the Maw Crusher, but that's only if you include a Maw Crusher. They have no magic unless you include a Maniac Weird Knob, and so pretty much all they do is use Mighty Destroyers in the hero phase, buff stuff with the War Chanters, and then move in the movement phase, fight in the fight phase, and then rinse and repeat.
Sounds, yeah. I mean, I think one thing, Sarah, as well, what you're saying there is, for me, I just need more time to actually strategize as well, because I've mentioned this quite often. It's like the number of armies and so on, but I still have time to just sit back, think about how I'm going to strategize and plan. I kind of do it on the way to Matt's. I'm like, oh, how am I going to play with this? Right, okay, then build a list the night before, and then off I go. So it's but like that Nighthaunt, use those 3 games in a row. The Skaven 2 games in a row. The Sylvaneth, I think 2 games in a row. So when you use obviously the same army, the second game I tend to have a bit more synergy. I know kind of what and what not to do, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So Mark's saying, hey, what do you guys think of the new warbands for Warcry? So have you seen those, Matt and Sarah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The spider one and the guy with the heads.
Yeah. Love me some Dark Oath guys, Slaves to Darkness. They're always fun. I like their models.
So is the actual warbands been announced then? Or is it just
they just previewed the one model?
They're going to go through, I think, the full new warbands on Saturday when they do the preview, because it looks like there's going to be a new Warcry box.
Right.
Imagine so, yeah. Seems a bit early for a new one, isn't it?
I know, the Catacombs has just come out. Well, not just, I mean, this year.
To be fair, it's been COVIDized. That's why we just haven't been able to use it that much.
I suppose it's the same with like, oh, by the way, here's the new Kill Team box. Then like 2 months later, here's another Kill Team box.
Yeah.
It's been so long since you had a Kill Team box.
Well, better I will be getting than a Sergeant.
What was it, Matt?
Well, better a new Kill Team box than like a Primaris Sergeant or Primaris Captain.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're getting one of those anyway from Warhammer Day. Whether you like it or not, there's a Primaris Marine somewhere.
I know. They're always lurking.
Even at the minute, if you were to buy like the larger sets of Kill Team, which are like 100, and if you spend over 150 quid, you get Primaris Sergeant.
Yep. Can't even remove it from your shopping cart. It's just there. You take it now. It's yours.
Thing is, though, with it having such a high price cap, if you were to get one, you could probably just sell it on eBay and make some money back.
I think that's what most people would do. Mm. I mean, to be fair, that's probably what anyone that plays AOS would do.
Oh, since Nuno is here as well. And we also have a few other folks here. What we'll do is... Hi, Christian. I thought I'm a little late. No worries, Christopher. Thanks for joining. And I think you joined just in time as well. So we are in the process of starting a campaign, which will probably be mid-November by the time the video comes out. So I just wanted to give you guys just a brief look at what the new map is going to look like as well, which is boom. So, Matt, do you feel, obviously you designed the map, so do you want to give us a bit of a run through, very high level of what's going on? Well, because obviously the video
sure. Actually, do we have Alejandro or... Ooh, I want to be a wood elf. I think that's his name on Discord. Are they there?
I don't know if they're on Discord or not.
Because they're kind of on... they're key players in this. We have the... what was it? The Bright Sun Forest down in the southwest? South left. And we also have Avalorn up in the north right, whatever. And these two forces are now clashing against each other. They're vying over, well, whatever territory that they have between them. We have a bunch of hexes, and we're going to have every 2 weeks or so, I suppose, we're going to have some decisions making about where they're going to fight, what's going to happen. And you guys get to vote on where you want to throw your support. If you want to back up the elves, you can put in your support into their quest line and hopefully get them to advance into the Bright Sun Forest. Or if you want to support the shiny goats of the Bright Sun Forest, throw your weight behind them and hopefully their quest to get into the forest and sack the city of Avalorn, depending on what you want to do. So we're just going to have quests up where people can throw in their contributions. So if they want to do some hobby reporting, make some battle reports, or just pictures of your hobby progress, really. Show us pictures of your army that you're making to support whoever. Pictures of games, whatever, really. Anything hobby related is fine. And just say, how are you going to support which side? That kind of thing. And we'll also have votes on the Discord and or on YouTube to see, what happens. And then every 2 weeks or so, we'll review what happens. We'll have hopefully we'll have a time to make a video about it. If not, we'll just have a recap either on stream or perhaps on a message on Discord just to see what happens, update the map a little bit, and keep it going and see where it goes.
Sounds good. And there is a video, or to say we have, there's a new map now as well for the Interstice Pocket Realm, so that's the next video coming out next week. The week after, that's going to be the campaign introduction, and that's going to contain a link to the actual rules itself as well, into how to participate, the points, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, so it's actually starting. We've been talking about it for a while, and it's finally happening.
Life finds a way.
Oh, it does. So yeah, so I'm actually really looking forward to that, and obviously pledging my allegiance to some faction. I don't know. It depends on which army I'm going to choose.
Depends on who you want to play as. Although there's you don't have to. I know you do. You don't have to go according to faction. I'm sure there's always lore reasons why you would, why your destruction faction might side with the elves. Why not?
Exactly.
It's always good reasons. And if there isn't, make one up. Make one up.
There you go, Matt. So after you'd same taste in you there.
Spot.
Guy.
Well, all right, fair enough.
Yep. So I think flag for the Beastmen over there, which is cool.
Nice.
And I got Cedar seeing cool as well. So it's our very first campaign as well. So this is again, it's going to be, we are looking to do more in the future as well. So this is the first of its kind. So we will obviously learn from this experience too. So yeah, but it's going to be exciting. Can't wait.
First of its kind from us, at least.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll see how things go. We'll change it up on the fly if need be.
Yeah. Yeah, we're also going to put something in Discord as well for discussions as well. So regarding the campaign itself, who's going to put polls up in terms of the voting area, for that's going to be on YouTube, on Discord as well. So there's going to be different ways you can vote, and obviously that'll go towards the cause of your chosen allegiance.
And my orcs just pretty much just want a good scrap, but like I say, for the lore reasons and stuff like that, depending on what's going on, they might switch sides. Because as much as we hate elves, they're not as bad as Stormcast. And we might like the Beastmen because they like to smash stuff. But they also have some sweet-sized monsters which are going to be needing taking down.
So
Very true.
You got decisions to make. Because that's what I don't know.
Chaos neutral type army or something, and just like almost go mercenary. Who's got the best things to pump?
That's what I like about the orcs. They're pretty carefree. They just do what they want. Don't have to think about like schemes or allies or plans or anything. It's just, oh, that's a good thumping.
Well, I do need to write the lore for my thing, and there are some evil scheming orcs. My crow boys especially are going to be the evil scheming
makes
ones.
sense.
A lot.
Speaking of which, you'll have to, once you figure out your lore, you'll have to tell me where you want to put up your real estate on the map.
I think probably the easiest place where I'm going to go is some kind of desert area, because that's the way that I've themed all of my bases on my models.
Understandable.
But each faction of the orcs is from a different realm. The Cruel Boys are from Ulgu, the Shadow realm, and they're going to get painted like really, really pale blue. My Savage Orcs from Gur, and my Iron Jaws are from Ish.
Oh, here we go. So this is the. I might as well. This is like since the people who joined, obviously get a sneak peek of what the new map looks like as well. So, Matt, do you want to give a brief, obviously just a brief description of?
Let's see.
Again, the video's coming out next week on the actual map itself as well, the changes. But this is just like a quite quick brief of what's.
So, shall I do from the start, or shall I just recap from at the end of chapter 1?
Yeah, go from the end of chapter 1 if you like. So
okay, so from the end of chapter 1, we had the diamond apex that blew up. The top of the diamond apex slid across, made that giant gash that you see just above the red bit there. So, and you see that little bright yellow or bright whitish kind of a mountain top you see resting in the middle of the desert there. That's the top of the mountain that blew off. So there's that. Now there's something that looks kind of like part of the 8-pointed star over to the left there. That's where the Chaos Gate was kind of corrupted. The gate, the Carcosan Gate, that was corrupted by Khorne. Open up the rift to the Chaos Realm for some demons to pop through. And yeah, it just kind of corrupted the land, exploded out a little bit, and there's that. Near the top, you have this tumorous kind of growth, and I think I called it Tumor Isle? Something like that. And it's kind of like a melding, it's like an island which melds both the realm of death and the realm of life. So it's kind of a weird, funky kind of growing, dying, constant kind of thing there. Brand new island, nothing was there before. Let's see. And then the largest mass of land that I've added onto the map is down on the lower right part there, and where I call like the kind of like the Chaman area, and that's to reflect what happened when Be'lakor and was it Croak?
Yeah.
When they blew up those gates, when they blew up the massive amount of gates in Chaman, they basically the lore behind the Interstice is you blow up a gate, and when you blow up a gate, you might suck up a chunk of land with that realm gate, and it gets sucked into here. And with Chaman being the epicenter of all those explosions, the Chaman part of the realm just kind of got a huge facelift, I guess. So you got the Sriracha Islands, or Sriracha Peninsula, I think. There's the Pommel down at the bottom. There's like what was it? I made like this weird, massive mix of all the realms. I called it Polychromatia, I think it was.
Rings a bell.
And basically, the idea there is I'm gonna have some funky rules for that place if you ever play. Basically, each and every round of the game that you're playing, it's gonna have like 2 different sets of rules for each realm. I'm just gonna make it really, really messy, really, really interesting to play. Not competitive in any sense. It's gonna be chaotic, but it'll be fun. And that's about it, really.
Good stuff. So yeah, we've got as you can see, a bit of work's been going on in the background, and we think we're in a decent position. We've got a few battle reports coming up as well, which is cool, and we're trying out a new format for that as well. So again, it's going to be evolving, and we're going to be changing as we go through, just obviously adapting to again what works for everyone, including ourselves. But this map's going to be pretty cool to explore, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And obviously Malathir, that's on the screen right now. He did try his best to stem the forces of chaos, and I thought he did all right, Matt? It's, apart from when the Bloodthirster showed up.
Well, I'm kind of sad we couldn't play further, because I'm pretty sure the Bloodthirster could some work, but we had to end that match. It was a victory for you, I think, regardless of what happened, because I think you had more points in that game, and that's why the gate was technically sealed up partly by the Sylvaneth forces.
Yeah, boy. So Sylvaneth roll. So now we've got some cool, exciting things coming down the line for that.
Oh yeah, Nuno, it's been terraformed a few times already. There's been a few explosions. Things are not all peaceful on the realm, unfortunately. This is Warhammer we're talking about. It's never peaceful.
Now, if there's one beast, keeping with kind of spooky kind of theme or horror theme, so if there's one beast in the mortal realms that, or even 40k for that matter, that you wouldn't want to come up against, and don't say like anything and everything, but the one thing that truly terrifies you, what would it be? Not named characters. Go on. Do you want me to give you mine first?
Yeah, go for it.
Right. Mongol.
Yeah.
For me, that is just, first of all, it looks like it's definitely out, nightmares kind of thing, and it's just terrifying itself. So that's one thing I would just not. I'll brick it.
I'm trying to think of something like the scariest thing that you could probably come up against.
Well, it's not just like how good it is in game or anything. Of course, it's just like if you came
up
against.
I'm not thinking sort of like from stats or anything. It's probably going to be something from Nurgle, like one of the beasts of Nurgle, where they've got like their flesh opens up with like teeth and stuff like that.
Yeah, I get that.
And you're probably going to melt from the acidic smell. Oh, there you go. Yeah, the vortex beast as well. Yeah, they're kind of.
I suppose any sort of like chaos spawn would be pretty freaky to look at or to see. I think the model.
Yeah, the old metal chaos spawn was really cool looking. That looked like something out of the thing.
Yeah, like the new plastic, like not new, but like the plastic kits. They're all right, but I don't think it does it justice. If you look at like if you play Vermintide, I think that gets a better representation of like what a chaos spawn should be or could be. Just gigantic hunk of flesh that's just mutated beyond any recognition.
Well, that's it. It's supposed to be a human that, or some other creature that has like been completely mutated out of all recognition. into
Exactly.
some kind of bizarre beast. Everybody loves a piece of chaos.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there are so many choices for sure.
I don't know. I think maybe for me, what is it? Is it Rat Abomination or
Oh, the Hell Pit Abomination.
Hell Pit Abomination? That's the one. That thing's freaky looking. It's kind of like, reminds me of like a human centipede, I guess.
Oh god.
Yeah, that's the exact thought.
You could just see like one of the is it the Molder clans who do it, or are they
Molder,
yeah, who just going like, needs more man things.
Need more orifices.
So we heard you like man things, so we put man things on your man things with your man things.
So you can man thing while you man thing.
Damn.
Dog.
Damn.
That's an old meme. That's such an old meme. I feel old now.
I know.
But when you hear people say like lit and stuff like that, and for me, I'm just like, when I say it, it just sounds so bad or so wrong as well. I'm just not with it. Not down with the kids.
Yeah, I think we're past that. We're past our prime.
For slang, anyway. Sarah, as well, is there any, or even chat, of course, and Matt, but what about
Thanks for including me.
board games? I was just thinking about board games as well, like in terms of like, because board games is quite a difficult thing to capture kind of a horror aspect of something, isn't it, really? I mean, I suppose, but obviously obviously the game we played recently, you have Zombicide, you got, and the game we played, which was Aliens. So you have like this like kind of setting, but you don't really get the faithful vibe, if you like. But I think in terms of like a horror board game, have you got any like recommendations there?
I don't think you can get the vibe of horror in a board game because depending on who you play with, I suppose. But like, if the people I know that play board games, they would not be able to keep a horror vibe because it'd be just laughs and jokes all the way through.
No, of course.
Even if you're playing something like a Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah,
I played Call of Cthulhu before. That was all right, or something Cthulhu related. But it does not keep a horror theme at all.
No.
Yeah, me and a few of my friends played Death May Die, the Cthulhu game, and we were against Dagon, one like the weird sea creature elder god, and one of the things that happens is, as you're playing through, the investigators start becoming part sea creature, like to represent the minions of Dagon, and we just had this hilarious image of one of the characters who had the top half and the bottom half turned into like a fish creature, and they were just flopping around like a little like mermaid with a fish head. Trying to get around the mansion and complete the objectives.
Like, I mean, it sounds like it could be horrifying, but at the same time, everyone would be laughing their heads off.
I was just laughing listening to it, so it's like...
Especially when like you get an umbrella as a weapon and stuff, and you just have this image of two enemies stood in a room, and then all of a sudden a half fish thing just sort of flops in, wielding an umbrella, trying to kill you. And then Dagon's in the other room, just sort of like slapping himself on the face, going like, "Oh my god, why do I do this to people?"
I mean, I suppose it's not really. It's more of a thrill kind of thing, or like anticipation, suspense. Even it's like, again, I'm going to harken back to Alien game because it's most fresh in my memory, but towards the end of that, when we just saw the blips, and we didn't know the numbers or whether they're false readings or whether it's like 3 aliens, 2, 1, that kind of thing, it puts me on edge in that sense. So I think that's kind of captured at least a bit of a sense of urgency as well, kind of thing, and like wonder and worry.
It's like that scene where they're holed up in the in that office room or wherever it is. I don't know, the medical bay or something.
Yeah.
And they're just there with the motion trackers, and there's just blips all over the place, getting closer and closer.
See, that I thought that did a pretty good job in terms of that. Because again, it's just it put me on edge anyway. I was like, just getting a bit anxious. Like, we've got to get out of it because we're on turn whatever it was, and then with just more blips started appearing. We had to get the obviously youngling out there, and I was like, oh no.
Reading right, man. You're not reading it right.
Yeah, so they enjoyed that. That was good.
So good having like all of the quotes and stuff like that on all of the cards as well.
Yeah.
But I think for mine anyway, I think Cthulhu definitely died. It has some pretty detailed miniatures, and some of them do look horrifying, like way creepier and stuff than any of the Games Workshop minis.
Oh wow!
I don't think Games Workshop does many like horror or like creepy models, do they?
No.
Not if I can think of at least.
I think that the closest things that we've got are things like Great Unclean One, the Chaos Spawn, Hellpit Abomination. They don't try to do anything really horror based.
Yeah, they're not really horror based though.
Even the Soulblight with the zombies, the Paradise, that type of stuff. They're not terrifying, and they still keep like the horror to a minimum. Like you could have, like you never really get characters modeled where they're ripping somebody apart or like they've just literally teared someone's head off. I mean, there's a couple of the Stormcast where you've got half an orc on the ground, but
even then, they're orcs. They're not
real
people
gore or anything like that to it.
Orcs don't count. They're not real people. But yeah, like there's definitely like you can almost say like most of GW's models are pretty PG. Like they're pretty suitable for most ages. I mean, avoiding ignoring the violence, the sometimes the sexuality of like the Slanesh models and whatnot. But aside from that, it's pretty PG.
I'm pretty sure they've like dialed it down a bit with them as well.
The Slanesh? Yeah, definitely.
A lot of the like the mortal followers of Slanesh, female models don't have the boobs out. You don't you see a lot of skin on them, but they're all covered up.
Yeah, they're a lot more clothed than I thought they would be.
I was going to say Atmosphere. So that's a game facts. It's a video / board game, so it's like a combination of both. So that's kind of something which is quite a horror. I just googled it actually because I have no idea what the hell it was until that was it's an Australian horror video board game series.
Video board game.
Okay. They did do a DVD version of it at one point.
That sounds pretty cool.
I've never played a DVD board game before. I've heard about them, but like it seems like a weird concept to me.
I mean, it's easier than the VHS version where you were winding it forwards and winding it backwards all the time, wearing the tape out.
Oh man, it sounds terrible.
It's one of those things you obviously remember having like VHSs and stuff, and when you needed to get somewhere, all these kids nowadays with the chapter selects and stuff like that, you needed to remember where the timer was on the video to go like, oh, hang on, it's the thing I need to watch is at like 57 minutes. Boom, there we go.
Yeah.
But then it gets annoying if someone's like watched 15 minutes of it, and then you're thrown off and you have to do math as to whereabouts you need to stop the video then.
Good times. Good times. RIP VHS.
Back in the day as well when recording
in the
stuff, you had to watch the thing that you were taping, which almost defeated the objective of taping something.
No, you could set a timer.
Oh, I know, but like something that was on during the day, and you had to keep the channel on for the VHS to record it, and you couldn't watch something else. When it came to like VHSs being able to switch between channels and take one thing on one channel but allow you to watch another, that was like a revolutionary breakthrough.
Technology.
So, Fax Paint is saying that there is a model, Necron model, tearing apart a guardsman.
He's not. It's. I think it's Saraz, the Necron, but he's not like tearing him apart. He's sort of like turning his flesh into like goop and energy.
Oh, right, that model. Yeah, it's not quite horror, and it's not quite gore either, though, is it?
No, because it depends on like what color you do it. Even the Games Workshop version of it,
Like
it's sort of
or pink.
Yeah, it's not
Solid pink.
Red like flesh, and considering that they do Nurgle Rot and Blood for the Blood God technical paints, they never use Blood for the Blood God on their actual heavy metal miniatures.
Even if they do, probably very, very sparingly.
Want more gore.
I was going to say, I used to be a bit fussed about more gore and all that stuff, but I think now, I don't know, I'm not as bothered these days, I suppose, as I once was with GW and more gore and all that kind of stuff. Although, yeah, I 100% agree with you guys that, the occasional decapitated head would be nice and stuff, but it's because I remember a Dark Elf miniature that I had, which had, I think it might have been two, it's like a Corsair. He had an axe in one hand, and he was like, had what I think is one or two heads, and he's basically holding the hair, and obviously the face looked very gaunt, and you're like, it's pretty brutal.
Well, the new one, how it's been painted by Heavy Metal, looks a little bit comical, rather than like if you actually zoom in on the severed head that he's got, they kind of look like a little bit too cartoonish. Like the face is supposed to be horrified, or someone who's surprised that someone has just sliced their head off, but it's an absolute clean slice at the neck. There's no blood anywhere.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's fair.
And considering the weapon the guy's holding, I'm pretty sure that is never been a clean slice.
Yeah. Dual tuner VHS for the win. There you go, Sarah. That's what you needed back then.
Oh yeah. This is just like the nostalgia hour or something I've just been talking about.
Well, this right.
ZX Spectrum.
Well, in the description I have put random chat as well. So.
You put what, sorry?
Random chat as well. So
okay.
Needs must.
Welcome back. Let us regale you of the 90s.
So, these bloody, the Correx paint, the base paint, absolute pain in the backside. They dry up too quickly in the Correx whites.
Oh,
Correx
yeah.
White is one of the worst.
We don't talk about those.
Absolutely painful. I mean, I've got like 3 pots and all 3 are dried up. I've got a paint mixer, which has helped a bit, but it's just so bad.
Yeah, we don't talk about Corax White.
It's like 10% paint and 90% custard.
Oh, come on. I need to dig out another tub. Another pot, even.
I have actually started using Army Painter or
Oh, yeah,
Game Color.
you did mention that, didn't you, before?
Ooh.
How's that
Yeah,
going?
there's a couple of paints that GW do really poorly. Dawn Yellow is one of them.
White
And again,
is the
that
other
one
one.
just turns to cheese before you can even really get to use it.
Hmm.
And I've started using like some Vallejo colors, which are like color matches. Because if you have a look online, and I think like on Reddit and some, you can get like some image charts and stuff like that of color equivalencies of like
Yeah.
Games Workshop compared to Vallejo and Army Painter and what those colors are called. So you can say, I need a Dawn Yellow. What's the Vallejo color for that? And I think it's Ice Yellow. I think the Vallejo one is for it.
That's funny. I don't think of ice as yellow at all.
It's because it's sort of like a really pale yellow.
Interesting. But yeah, Vallejo's a pretty good line from what I heard. I need to invest in, expand out into those because they are very nice paints from what I understand. I think their white is very, very good. I think it's like a titanium white. Is that it?
It's actually white.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually
The
white.
Game Color one and the Army Painter one is really good as well. Well, I like it recently came up on Kickstarter, and I backed it because I'm a massive nerd. Duncan Rhodes, he did a Kickstarter for like a paint set, so I went all in on that and decided to, if I'm going to invest in a brand new set of paints, I might as well get all the paints at once.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Have they come in, or is it?
Oh no! It's gonna. I think it's early next year.
Okay.
It's due. But he also included like a bunch of freebies, like a little Duncan miniature that you can paint, and some exclusive miniatures for like the little mascot character, Sir Coates.
Nice.
And I think one of the other things you get as well, which I've not got a 3D printer, but you get a bunch of 3D bases
STL
of various
files.
different themes, but you also get the STL files for them as well, so you can print your own.
Cool.
That sounds good though.
Just like it's the gift that just keeps giving.
I mean, that's how most Kickstarters are. That's how you get people to get involved.
Plus, it's Duncan as well, so yeah.
To be honest, I've never really looked at Kickstarters before. I mean, I did it like a while ago, but I mean, I've started to look into a bit more now with board games and different stuff coming out, and I was just seeing what there is. And
so many Kickstarters for board games.
Oh yeah,
they're all over the place.
There's like one with The Witcher as well. I think that's.
Yeah, I was having a look at that one. I didn't back it though, purely because I've only really played Witcher 3, and I had at the time Massive Darkness 2 and Nemesis Lockdown on order to come through, so I didn't want too many games to have to play at once.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You have to balance what you can do with your time.
Yeah. Oh, I paid £300 with Kickstarter. Maybe I'll get round to playing it 2 years later.
That's optimistic.
Yeah, I know. It's like some of the games I still haven't had a full campaign of yet because it's just been trying to get people in the right place at the right time every week.
I mean, I'm still doing my Slaves to Darkness. I think I bought in on those like when they came out. I haven't actually played them before. Oh, are they? I thought you painted some of them.
I don't think I've painted any Slaves to Darkness on it.
Oh, really? Oh.
I'm so lazy.
I've done most of my Chaos Warriors. I just need to get through my Chaos Knights and my Crackadrack thing. And Archaon too, I suppose.
No, right.
That's one of the ones that I didn't get. I didn't get the starter set.
I didn't. I think it's really good. I love all the new models. They're so nice, especially the Knights.
Yeah, I ended the reason why I started the Slaves to Darkness army. It was going to be like a New Year, New Army type thing. I went to Darksphere in London, and they were selling the old battalion bots for it.
Oh yeah, you told me about that for like £60 or
15
something.
Chaos Knights, let's say 10 Chaos Knights, 15 Chaos Warriors, the War Shrine, and the Lord or Sorcerer on Chimera, I think it is, or whatever
The one that you can do like Manticore, Sorcerer, or Knight, or Lord, or whatever. Yeah, that thing.
And I think they also had the Start Collecting set as well, the really old one. That had
the Chariot and the Knights,
yeah.
I think it was.
So I ended up for like, I think £110, I think it was in total. Like 15 Knights, 20 Warriors, 2 Chariots, the Manticore Lord, a War Shrine, and a Sorcerer.
And you've not painted any of it?
Oh, no.
I like that commitment. I am not going to paint any of it, ever.
And since then, I've got like a Nurgle army and now a Zinch army as well, and
Oh, jeez.
And none of them are painted either.
I bought my Zinch Battle Force box from last year. Was it last year? I feel like it's last year, but it could have been the year before now. I can't remember. But I've had that sitting there for a while. I haven't touched it yet. Maybe after I finish my slaves.
You say that.
Yeah. Well, if I finish my slaves, I should be... Let's see, what else do I got left? Lots of Stormcast. Soul Blight. Zinch.
Now, I'm hoping to get my Stormcast done by the end of the year, along with my Bone Splitters, and then that should be 4 full painted armies for AOS.
Oh, cool. Nice.
In one year, too.
What colors are your Stormcast? I don't think I've seen them before.
No, you haven't. I only painted like a couple of them the year after the campaign for Warcry finished. And they are... got any nearby? Maybe I do. Hang on a second. Because you know the law where they, as they get reforged, their humanity disappears.
Yeah.
My guys are supposed to be sort of like at the very extreme end of that, where their souls are basically no longer human. Well, you know, they weren't human, but they've lost any bit of humanity that they have. And they all have like white hair, like white eyes, and they've all got really dark armor.
Is that gold and purple?
Gold, purple, and white, and dark.
Nice.
Very dark silver is the main color.
Decent.
See more on my Instagram. My Caradron Overlords, which are in the same box here, I painted them to go with like I wanted them to be like Bugman's Caradron, and whereas they're all like mercenaries and do stuff for gold, these guys are basically customer service reps, and they go out delivering beer to everybody. And because the mortal realms are treacherous, they carry the guns and armor and everywhere with them.
Nice.
So the Aether Quartz gold that they have with them is going to be Bugman's special brew instead.
That's cool. Are you gonna like green stuff, little tankards for each and every one of them?
If I had the options to do that, I probably would. Maybe I'll have a look online or something and see if I can just find a bunch of tankards, get those on there, because it'd be great to have some of the Caradron with like a spilt beer on the floor, or their backpacks have got a little tankard just swinging from the belt.
Did you get that White Dwarf miniature with you with the tank on the back? The dwarf.
Bugman.
Yeah,
Jacob Bugmanson.
Jacob Bugmanson. Yeah, I got him. He was the first one that I did, and I painted him in Bugman colours.
Nice.
They're in the same box. Let me just get the box out again.
Well, if I remember correctly, all three of us did the Christmas competition for the painting thing.
Which my Bugman one?
Yes, it did.
So because I've got a bunch of dwarfs that I'm going to start repainting. I painted this is really bad. Like my camera doesn't have autofocus or anything. So I painted.
Put your hand behind it. Put your hand up behind it like that. That usually sometimes helps. Maybe.
Yeah, you can see it a bit though. Yeah, I remember that dwarf.
Yeah. So I've given these dwarfs the classic square bases, and I'm giving them like goblin green and whatnot.
Ooh.
And then these ones I'm keeping to sort of like a sandy base. And I just kind of like that next to each other, they can clank mugs.
That's cool, I think.
Yeah, I like it.
Where'd you find all those models, though?
Where'd
you find those models, though?
Which ones?
The old dwarves.
Oh, that one is the one of the Warhammer World models that you can get. It's like 3 different types, and this is as far as I'm aware, it's the Bugman's Rangers Bugman that came out with like a command unit and his archers. Well, crossbowmen. Again, a unit that I used to have, but sadly had to sell.
Oh. I'm sure you could find it on eBay or something if you wanted it.
Yeah, I've been trying to, but to get this full unit, it's quite expensive.
Probably, yeah.
So I'm having to try and just buy the command unit and then build up a couple of models.
Still got Bugman kicking around somewhere. Yeah, I've got mine.
Never leaves. He's one of the classic characters from the old fantasy world. Same with Gotrek and Felix.
So, everyone in chat, what are you working on right now? Because I think hobby update, I have based 2, 4, 6, 7 Reavers so far, which is good because obviously you know me, I'm speed painter contrast. So once they're based, I can get cracking on and probably get them done in a few days. And then, what about you guys?
I'm still working through putting together the repulsor.
Oh yeah.
I am doing gold trim on my Chaos guys. They're coming along. Ish.
Right. Looking sharp.
Yeah.
Matt, I can see you've also done some Nighthorn and the Witch King as well. Not bad.
Yeah, they're kind of my worst models there.
Absolute
Just kidding.
Hold on, I can do something. Oh, wait a second. There you go. And then there were 2.
Oh, flex that power you got.
Take you out the studio.
I will do with them hood up. Come to the dark side of the Force. But no, so I've got 3 more Reavers, and then I can get cracking on with my contrast paints, which is awesome.
Remind me, your Reavers. Are Reavers the bow and arrow guys or the sword guys?
Pew pew.
Pew pew. Nice. Oh yeah, the Thralls are the sword guys, aren't they?
They are, yes, indeed.
Right. Are you done your Thralls already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, Thralls. So basically, my Ideneth, what I've got left is I have these Reavers and 2 boxes of eels, and then that's near enough 2k army.
More eels. Oof.
You know, you haven't really had them properly in your face yet, have you? So.
No, I prefer
one.
No. That was enough. And then in Warcry, they're just ugh.
In Warcry, it's just one of those things. Go back to Warcry with the big beasts. I've had like ogres, stormcast, and obviously now eels and other bits. But it does not mean they may have tons of wounds, but I've lost all 3 due to objectives. And obviously,
again, it's a numbers game sometimes.
It is, yeah.
I think orcs as well, like especially the Iron Jaws, they don't tend to have a lot of models on the board for the 1,000 points in Warcry.
Oh, but you wiped the floor with my guys last time I played against you, Sarah.
That was because the Iron Jaws have like a ridiculous relic that you can give to one of the guys with the brute chopper, and he can do like a base, what was it, a crit 8 damage.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
A bit. It was a bit harsh, especially since my guys are mostly 8 HP.
Yeah. Well, that's what I found with the thralls. I was like, bloody hell, 8 HP, because I'm used to like 20 wounds or something.
Wow. Welcome to my world.
Yeah. In fact, I don't think I've used Skaven in Warcry yet. I might give that a go.
No, I don't think I've fought against Skaven.
I've used Dryads and I've used Undead. Because again, it's one of those lockdown solo battles that I did.
Oh, right.
With Sylvanet and Undead. That was fun. Right, I'm just going to put myself on mute for a sec because I've got my old paint mixer.
What?
Yeah, paint. This is the noise. It's irritating. I don't know if you hear that. But either way, it basically mixes the paint in the pot, especially when it's dried up. So the Corax white becomes useful again.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know you had a thing like that. I didn't know a thing like that existed.
It becomes useful for
through necessity, Matt. That's all it was. Because as Sarah knows now as well. If a true, like, like even you guys as well. I mean, you guys paint like a bit more dedication than I do in terms of like brushes and like paint water in your paint pot. For me, it could be sewage in there, and I'll still wash my brushes with it, and then and using the same brush for everything, and near enough everything anyway. And then I got metallics floating, metallics in there. Even yesterday's water, I'm like, yeah, go on, let's do that, and it'll be all right. So I'm not as fussed, should I say, but it gets the job done.
Okay, all good. To be fair, if you're using contrast paints, if you wash it out, it should leave relatively less residue compared to, like, say, like metallics.
It's more, I think, on the brush when you're using contrast as well, like because it's a much stickier than paint. It tends to stay in the bristles more.
That could be true. That's why I usually have like a brush that's more for like washes and like contrast paints and things like that. I call it my runny brush.
I still got brushes from I think 2 years ago, and I use those for my speed painting brushes. If I need to use contrast, they're the first ones that get attacked with it.
What brushes do you use right now? Curious.
At the minute, I've got some Artist Opus ones.
Okay, right.
If you think Artist, it's Artist Opus. And I have some. I've totally forgotten the name now.
Pardon me?
Totally forgotten the name of the brush. Something and something. I don't remember. It's bugging me now.
Windsor and Newton?
No, right. Yeah, I know those two.
You mean Windsor and Newton or something else?
That's the one.
Ah.
I use those as my main brushes. But
Gotcha.
I've had some Raphael ones. They've been really good. A bit cheaper than Windsor and Newton ones.
No, quite pricey.
I think the Windsor ones have have a little bit more last in them. So I've really been taking it to this 0.5 size, and it just keeps going. It still keeps its point. I had to clean it a few times, use paint remover and stuff like that on the bristles, and it just keeps going.
Nice, it's decent.
Expensive, but decent and long lasting.
It's worth it.
That's always my one worry, because I feel like I don't look after my brushes well enough. Yeah. I'm very happy with the set I've got now. I don't actually know what these are, but bought them like about a year ago, and they're still holding relatively strong despite a fair amount of abuse.
I think depending on how much you actually paint as well, depends on how much you're really going to need to.
That's also very true.
Use them, because I'll use my Windsor one to do some really fine detail, and then I'll switch over to my crappy brushes to just do some large areas.
Yeah, definitely.
I have a one brush that's all.
One or two before really giving it a good clean.
I think it's something I need to stay out of this conversation, actually. Because honestly, this brush I pretty much use for everything. What I do, basing. I don't know. When I used to do layers as well and a lot of other stuff, I just used to use one brush for everything. Also with the, you've seen the paint. Well, you've seen the paintwork and stuff like that. It's not the worst. It's just I need to. I'm not entering any competitions. Put it that way. But the thing is, though, it's not like. Again, it's like when we did that discussion we had before, Matt, as well, where we were saying what's the army that you're most proud of paint-wise? Now you've actually done, and one of mine isn't actually one of the contrast ones I've done. It's actually the Pro the Character and Overlords, where I've had to use so many different techniques to bring it up. Although I don't paint like that now because it's not my preferred method of getting paints done, because this was before contrast paints. So now I just love contrast paints. And I'm finding new funky ways to use them as well, which is fun.
I mean, contrast paints are pretty versatile. They're nice that way.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty decent that you can paint a full army, in a fairly short amount of time with just contrast paints. In fact, I'm probably going to do that with some of my what are they called? Zinch followers.
Oh yeah.
As well as the Soulblight as well, especially the zombies.
Oh yeah.
Just kind of douse them in some sort of weird flesh.
Sounds good.
Flesh tone, and then just pick out cloth and whatever. Not a big fan of painting hordes, or just big units in general.
Just got to put them into a little production line type thing. Work away at them one paint color at a time.
No, I can't do that. It's just a headache. I kind of I think 5 is my sweet spot for doing things productively. Because I remember doing right when the contrast paint lines came out, I had 20 or 40 Blood Reavers. I think it was 20 or maybe something around there-ish. And then I contrast paints are fast. I'm going to do all of these Blood Reavers at once. And oh my god, that was painful. So painful. It was fast, but I didn't enjoy it in any way. It was so terrible. So I think I have to do them in smaller
portions. Got to get into the right mindset of doing it, because there's so many of them. It becomes a little bit more overwhelming, and then once you start getting into it, and you're like, "Oh, I'm going to do these." You do the first thing, like skin, which is the largest area that you're going to use, and you think, "Oh, that didn't take too long. That wasn't too bad." But then you start getting down to the details, and it's just using one color just to paint a bangle on their arm or a little metal chest piece on another, and you've got to go through each one of the models methodically then to try and find all of the bits of that one color.
Can't do it.
Skaven, when I painted my Skaven army in contrast, that was 80 clan rats, about 20 storm vermin, 20 plague monks. Then
I feel like some of those
ogres, storm fiends, obviously the vermin lord, the characters, so all contrast. But to be honest, I kind of enjoyed it. And obviously you got the rat swarms as well, giant rats even, and the spells. And yeah, so
I think the nice thing about it is you see the result really quickly.
Yeah.
So you get a bit of motivation that way.
That's true.
And that's partly why I can't do like large numbers, because if I need to do like 20 or more things all at once, I'm like one color all the way through. I'm like, okay, I just spent like an hour dousing this whole army in one color. It still looks like shit. I don't see the result. Like it's one tone. I'm like, well, that was a lot of time wasted, and I still have it. It still looks terrible. Whereas if I'm doing this on like a relatively small scale, I do 5 models. I can get through them and get like a couple of layers of paint or couple of different colors on, like pretty quickly in rapid succession. And with multiple colors on, it looks more finished in my mind.
Yeah, no, I get that. Because for me, when it's going through Skaven, first even like Sylvaneth, even you're just doing all the bark first. I'm thinking, I didn't. To be honest, with contrast again, though, I think it's even when you do like all the furs or all the bark, that's a lot of the miniature done. I think it definitely depends on which miniature you're doing with contrast as well. But I kind of saw the results straight away with those type of miniatures, the fur, and then the and obviously the bark and the dryads and so on. But it's definitely when I went through after doing all the fur, then doing all the skin, all the leaves, and then it starts to really pop. That's when it starts to pop. But I know what you mean, though. It's seeing the result quicker, but just the sheer number as well. It is daunting.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why, like, like what Matt said, if I have to do a larger unit, I tend to try and limit the number of models that I'm doing. Like, I've got 2 different ways of painting. I need this done to be finished as soon as possible, and as long as there are 4 colors on there, I'm fine. And then there's the other one, which is I need to put at least 70 different colors on this one miniature. And I think doing it in small squads of doing single miniatures, like a character, or doing a small squad of about 5, that's roughly the sweet spot for doing higher quality models, because it takes a lot out of you having to focus so much on doing all the details all the way around 5 models.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, I think if I was, I don't know, again, I don't mind doing horde armies. That's why I've got, a fair few and miniatures in terms of like Dryads, got a load of those, got mostly a load of Skaven, got a load of Nighthaunt and all that. So I don't mind horde armies when I'm contrast painting. But I've gone through without contrast painting, again, Warhammer Fantasy. This is like, skeleton zombies and all that's in the past. And yeah, that was a bloody pain. The skeletons weren't too bad, to be honest, because you just wash. So it wasn't that bad. But zombies were a bit more painful.
Dry brushing and washing was the 2 techniques that you really needed to learn to be able to do decent quality miniatures fast.
I think if I was, because obviously I know you two, obviously Matt, you've already got the book and bits for Soulblight, and Sarah, I think you said you're thinking of getting them as well. I think if I was to ever get Soulblight, I would want to do a horde army.
Well, no, I'm never going to do Soulblight. I'm never going to do Soulblight.
No,
My,
Wow.
my death faction is the Nighthaunt.
Nighthaunt, right.
Well,
You've
I've
got
played
Nighthaunt,
against
so.
a couple of different lists. There's a guy that I play at the club, and he plays Soulblight, and I've faced off like a Ford Army version that he's done, a decent like mid-range one with a lot of the Blood Knights, and then another one which is sort of like a lot of screen units and like 2 zombie dragons.
Ooh.
And the one thing I've learned is if somebody goes against you, this is if I was the Soulblight player. If somebody goes against you and they go first, chances are you're probably going to lose a lot of your screening units, which isn't too bad because usually they can come back again from the grave sites. But if they've got any way to do mortal wounds to your characters without even being able to get in combat with them, like magic or like my friend's least favorite Orc at the minute, the Wergog Prophet, who has the ability to just constantly keep rolling for mortal wounds and can just delete hero units off the board without even flinching. Or if you have a really shooty army, to just get straight past the chaff at the front. It's very difficult for them to come back.
So Matt's got a decent shooting army.
Wait, what? When did I have a shooting army?
Your Stormcast one that you used against the Nighthaunt. I remember that battle. That was just you plucking away, shooting constantly.
That was just a unit of raptors.
Oh no, come on! You had you had at least 3 units there, shooting units, if not more.
I had one unit of raptors that did a fair amount, and then I had a unit of judicators that did
2 units. I'm pretty sure because I was being pinned down like hell, and then obviously the objective in the middle.
No, it was 1 unit of raptors because that's all I had painted. I only had 1 unit of raptors and 1 unit of judicators. I've never had more than that.
Really?
And it's usually just the raptors that did anything. And lo and behold, the new battle tome nerfs them pretty hard to the point of where I don't think I'll ever use them again.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, even the Aether Wings that used to have that ability where they could charge in your opponent's face to try and block you off, they don't have that anymore.
Gone. Yeah, they're... to be honest, it's not really good. Well, I mean, battle tome's alright, but it kind of removes a lot of nice things. And it's just
like
made it...
the chain lightning ability that they used to have on like the ballistas, that's all gone.
Yeah, I mean, they've made the ballistas a bit more reliable, I guess you want to say, or a bit more.
They're better now
even
for sniping characters.
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to use it or test it out, but I think overall they've averaged it out a bit better. Whereas back then it was really swingy. You either did a whole lot of everything, it destroyed a unit, or it just did absolutely nothing. It really depends on what you roll. But nowadays it's a bit more, you'll do something most of the time, and sometimes you'll do a little bit better, sometimes you do a little bit worse. It's averaged out a little bit better. Whereas before it was just, I don't know, roll the dice, see what happens.
And now the Cruel Boys have got a ballista that seems almost on par or possibly better.
Yeah, that thing's like ridiculous, isn't it? It's like, doesn't it like basically outrend most of everything pretty much?
It has the possibility to like one-shot a monster even from 16 wounds if you get lucky enough.
Mm.
Yeah, it sounds fair.
So you get the I mean, when it's hitting in its top profile anyway, I think it's hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s, and you give it the Swamp Claw Shaman thing where it gets its mortals on a 5-up instead. You have the Sludge Raker Beast nearby, which gives it +1 mortal wound if it gets the mortal wounds on its poison weapons. And then depending on what it's shooting at, it gets to roll additional dice to increase the number of mortal wounds that it can inflict.
Sounds like Lumineth to me. Jesus. Dirty.
Alejandro, welcome to the chats, my friend.
Hello.
Welcome. In fact, Alejandro, you've just missed the new map, which obviously we can easily show, but yeah, so that's going to be. In fact, I'll just show it now. Whilst we're here.
Shiny goats.
So we got some cool little campaign map on the go here, which the video will be coming out not next week, the week after, and then we get cracking on with that campaign, which would be very cool. Sorry, guys, go on. I interrupted you then.
No, that's all right. I think I'm gonna go sleep anyways. I need to get going. Got work in the morning, and most of my paint is outside anyways. I think I'm as done as I can for these guys for the time being.
Fair enough. So are you shooting off them up?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. No worries.
You guys have a good night. Have a good stream. And I'll catch you next time, wherever that may be.
Nice one. See you, Matt.
All right. Take care.
One day we'll have to have a battle as well.
Oh, we definitely will. Definitely will. You need to get your orcs in the story, and then we'll have a good story about it.
Oh, they're coming.
All right.
They're coming. Don't you worry.
I'm not worried. I'm scared. All right. Good night, guys.
All right. See you, Matt.
See you later.
And then there were two. Alejandro, it's
like a horror movie.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's gone in separate ways. We shouldn't split up. It's good to see you, Matt. It's been a long time, my best friend. Yeah. Well, Alejandro, Matt's just left because you arrived, so it's just sod's law. Tell you what, I've been wearing this outfit, Sarah. Sweating like I'm gonna have to have a shower after this thing.
Yeah, I when I went to have my my hair done and everything, having to sit underneath the hair dryer and stuff with one of those on, like everything underneath was just absolutely sweaty. Beautiful thing to think about.
I'm just gonna turn this up a bit. Good. What's on that? Yeah. Oh dear me! Right.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to write things up because it'll be interesting to see what the reasons for battle are, and I'm pretty sure my orcs are going to be flip flopping.
Well, I was going to say, I'm just trying to remember when. I think if we're going to have, when we have a battle next, you including Matt as well, I think what we might do is we could look to do a live stream, which, again, depending on location and so on, but we'd probably go to a game store or something like that. I mean, obviously, you can always, it depends if it's Warcry or something, you can always, we can always just have it around hours and stuff, but depending on the game size, and I was thinking we just do like a live stream and that stuff, and we can actually, obviously, you, Matt, can game, I'll interact, I'll be the third party, interacting with chat, and obviously telling you guys, shit.
Yeah, I think like Warcry is probably going to, well, I'm not saying it's going to be difficult, but like, it's going to be interesting. I've not beat his Corvus Cabal anyway when he was last playing those because oh my god, that guy who flies.
Yeah, the Birdman.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, I've not really with Matt's Cabal. I've not. My issue hasn't been. Again, I think it's just the miniatures that take it to very powerful and smash and take a lot to take down. It's just the sheer numbers that he has. That's where I kind of struggle with.
Yeah, and that's where it becomes difficult for the orcs as well because some of the objectives have the thing of you need to have a certain number of people on them to hold them.
Yeah.
And when you're outnumbered almost 2-1 by the enemy, it becomes very difficult.
Yeah. I remember when using my ogres, it literally anything that he went into was a gunner. And then the thing is, though, again, objective-wise, just couldn't keep up.
Bloody Birdman.
Alejandro, what are you working on, mate? Anything tonight? Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is just finish off this miniature. Finish basing it, and then I think I'm going to call it myself as well. Because what we've been streaming 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's 15
It's a very, very decent stream.
Especially if you love the 90s.
What was that?
Especially if you love the 90s.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, too right. But no, and it's been a good stream, to be honest. I mean, I really appreciate obviously all the people showing up in chat as well. It's been awesome. I think, oh man, one thing I'm going to look to do more and more is trying to get a schedule in for, obviously, as we talked about Sarah before as well, trying to get a schedule in to at least once a week do hobby hangouts. If not, it'll be a new version of that where we're probably streaming live playing a board game or something along those lines, where it's basically 1 day a week we're going to be streaming live, either hobby hangouts or board game or Warhammer or whatever's the case. And then obviously from there we'll have once a week kind of release as well of a video content as well. So yeah, it's going to be exciting times. Just need to get the structure sorted.
We'll be able to drum up the hype before the videos launch.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the next week's video is going to be, let me just it's been a long day working as well. So it's going to be the map. So this is from the events of what we just talked about before, Matt talked about before. So the next video is going to be the map, discussing what's going to happen or what's happened to obviously different areas of the map. And then the week after, that's going to be when the campaign starts. And yeah, that's when the real heavy duty stuff's going to start coming in, and it's going to be pretty cool. Getting the polls out there, getting people's feedback, getting seeing the side in with alliance wise as well. So, I can't wait. Hey, by the way, could I help write the dialogues and strategy of my goats? Alejandro, that would be awesome. Honestly, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to set up in Discord anyway. I'm going to set up a location for this campaign, the first campaign that we're going to have. So I'm going to set up a location there, and literally it's going to be community, just putting their feedback, their ideas, what alliance they're going to join. We're going to put polls in there as well and all that kind of good stuff. So in there, if you have an idea of where you'd want your goats to go in terms of which area you'd like to go, then by all means put that in there as well. And lo and behold, they'll head off in that direction. In terms of strategy as well, yeah. Honestly, go for it. It's been a long time coming, this campaign, but that's why I'm actually quite stoked for it as well. Should be good.
Like I say, once I've got my orcs and stuff involved in it, to be another awful threat roaming around.
Well, it's one thing we're lacking quite a lot. I mean, I've got my orcs, but I don't really have the I've not really done any lore on my ogres. So in terms of your orcs, it's going to be like the main destruction kind of feature in the actual Interstice anyway.
It usually is anyway. Like I think in the local games workshop and stuff, on the campaign board, I'm like the only representative of destruction on there at the minute. And because I've won quite a few games, I've just stormed my way across the campaign. I came in at one side of the map, destroyed one of the Order factions territories, and I went through the middle and destroyed one of the Death factions ones, so that I could start expanding into the opposite side of the area towards Chaos.
Yeah.
Nobody's safe.
I love it. Sorry, I was looking at some chat. So Matt and Alejandro getting having a discussion there about the narrative and obviously where Alejandro would like to go. So that's cool. That's cool. But no, I think I'm gonna call it myself now as well. So, sir, how much did you do this evening with all the chatting of 90s and horror and everything else? Did you do much?
Well, I've managed to get everything off the sprues, everything sub-assembled for my reporter now. So that is a weight off my shelf.
Awesome. I was gonna say the only thing, but I'm pretty glad I've done it now, is I've actually fully based. I got the base paint down, so now I can get cracking on with the contrast, which is awesome. So yeah, so that's it for tonight, folks. So thank you all for stopping by. I am sweating like a pig, and I need to shower, then go to bed, and then obviously work. So anyway, thank you all for stopping by. Thank you, Sarah, for joining again, and for Matt, who's obviously left now, but you may still be in chat. But yeah, thank you all for joining. Don't forget to like the video as well if you're brand new to obviously our channel, our content. If you could subscribe, hit the bell icon. Obviously drop a like, comment on the video as well. It does help with the algorithm and obviously getting us noticed, which is awesome. So yeah, so thank you all. Take care and let the dice tell the story. Bye-bye.